You're watching the TC MMA podcast.
Of course, let's dive right into the main event. I mean, this thing finished with a flurry, and Khalil Rountree looked great for a while, but Alex Pereira is just too much in the end. This is what it sounded like late last night. Pereira's just a beast. Oh, this might be it. Alex Pereira, open it up now. This could be the beginning of the end. I'll tell you what, Khalil has heart, man. Khalil has heart, but he's like one punch away from going down. There's a body shot, and that's going to probably be it. Khalil goes down, and that's it. And Pereira tries to go in for more. He gets pulled off by the ref, and Alex Pereira retains the belt. But dang, I'll tell you what, the story of the night is Khalil Rountree, too. I mean, Alex Pereira is a ridiculous champ. Oh my goodness gracious. Alex Pereira is ridiculous, man. He's going to move to 12-2. And he withstood he withstood a barrage from Khalil Rountree, right? He withstood it. And just over time broke him down. But Khalil Rountree has tremendous heart. Tomorrow, or whenever the rankings come out, Khalil Rountree should be 3 or 4. But that's not how it works. It's crazy. Unbelievable. So listen, that's a wrap, man. Alex Pereira retains the belt, KOs Khalil Rountree. Basically KOs him into submission with 27 seconds left in round 4. But Khalil Rountree held in there for nearly 20 minutes with one of the baddest dudes on the planet. And had chances in rounds 2 and 3, but couldn't get the job done. So Alex Pereira wins, 12-2. Still champion, baby. Light heavyweight division. UFC 307. Yeah, so that was the big finale last night. Alex Pereira gets the KO, finishes Khalil Rountree, who just stood there and took it down the stretch. You could just see him late in round 4 just starting to really lose steam. But he looked great early on. In the end, significant strikes. Pereira 127-61. Head strikes 92-34. Not a lot of that, but the major separation coming in round 4 when Pereira just took over. Now he was definitely winning the fight, but Khalil Rountree had opportunities at times where it looked like something good could happen, or he made something happen, right? And you just can't. It's just hard to finish Pereira, But the guy looked really good. I don't think a lot of people expected that, and he was the best contender so far in the light heavyweight division. So that's where the question comes in with the rankings. And Dana White talking last week about AI is on its way. And a lot of times when something like this happens, which doesn't happen often, but a number 8 contender in this situation comes in, he looks good, he gets finished, and you come back next week and he's still number 8. And you're like, wait a minute, he looked better than Yuri. He looked better than a few other fighters, Jamal Hill, right? I mean, he lasted a lot longer. Why doesn't he get to catapult in the rankings even though he lost? And that's the problem. And that's the problem. And I know some people have a problem with that. It's like he lost, but he looked good in the loss. Right? I don't think anyone in the light heavyweight division is beating Pereira right now. I would say Khalil gave it the best attempt that you could hope for at the end of the day. But he won't move up in the rankings. So throughout the night, Dana White getting on the judges big time. They were separating fights. Joe Rogan in DC, I'm talking throughout the fight too, so I'm commentating, but trying to listen to a little bit of what they're saying. They don't necessarily like it, but they're not talking out against it as much because some of these fighters are just holding. And Dana White had some things to say. He said out last night at the post-fight press conference, I always think that the referee should be more active on that, 100%, especially when someone keeps doing it to stall, right? And this is late in the night, right after the UFC 307 finale. You guys aren't going to let up on this, are you? So let's get into it. If you're judging a guy, if it's on control, this or that, if you're not trying to fight, then how do you win the fight? If you're looking at attempted takedowns, what about stuffing the takedowns, right? It's just madness. And I say that all the time. These guys are defending takedown after takedown. They don't get credit for it. I don't think you even need a stalling clock, as McGregor alluded to, right? It's just obvious. It is more or less what Dana White is saying. He goes on to say if he did it three rounds in a row, and he keeps doing it, and he doesn't get the takedown, then give him a couple seconds to see if he gets a takedown, then break it up. And that's what they were doing last night. You saw a steady flow. I mean, what, 6 or 7 times fighters have been pulled off, and you don't see that too often. And it didn't seem like the commentators were totally against it. And I could be wrong on that because I can't hear as well while I'm talking. And I'm sure Joe Rogan weighed in a little bit, but it's not. Yeah, I guess there were times when they were upset with it, but it doesn't seem like they're speaking out as much. Maybe their reaction, yes, but they're not speaking out. So, I have to run that back and check that out because there was a few key times I really wanted to hear, but I'm talking during the watch party, so it's hard to hear everything that's happening. So, this is kind of how it turned out last night for us with the picks, 7-5 on the night. We get Peña and Pereira at the end. That's what matters. We want to be right at the top of the card, most importantly. But we lost with Aldo in a close fight. Kevin Holland we lost with, but he couldn't come out in the second round. Just an unfortunate, injury when he tried to pull up, hurt his rib. I mean, it's crazy. Kayla Harrison, big win. Joaquin Buckley, big win. And you know what? Maybe we'll play that for you in a second because that was crazy. And we lost on Marina Rodriguez and Ihor Poderia. One of those was a robbery. I can't remember which one. But we got Hernandez, Spann, Court McGee. Yeah, it was Carla Esparza Carla Esparza won the fight yesterday. And they said she lost. I mean, the crowd was booing like crazy. That was the one that was, man, you just cannot leave it in the judge's hands.
These judges, dog, these judges.
You just can't do it. And it's unfortunate. But 7-5 on the night, 19-14 in the main event, 241 and 160 on the year. We're desperately trying to get to the plus 100 mark. But we got to have 19 more wins and losses, and the year's getting late now. So I didn't think that would happen, but it's happening. We're going to try to get to over plus 100 like we did last year. Last year's record was way better than this year's. I argue that there's a lot tougher competition. Things are a little different. Matchmakers are doing a great job. We're still 19-14 in the main event. We struggled early, struggled in the middle, and eventually got over the top and had a couple of back-to-back losses. We're back in the win column thanks to guys like Pereira for getting us there. Yes, for sure. So that's the way it went down last night, Dana White had some things to say about the judges, the officiating, all that. But we move on now.
He's gonna fight, he's gonna fight. Hold your breath till the end of the night. Last fighter call, UFC at its height. Bringing that thunder with all his might. Saying, step up, wanna fight? Hold up, think twice. Gladiator, assassin, reckless, no abandon. Walk through that cage, he'll leave your ass.